Welcome to Admin Insights, the show where we dive deep with the people using and supporting technology. I'm your host, Scott Fisher, and today we have a very special guest, William Nofi. William is the Network and Systems Coordinator for the Center Moriches School District, which is located on Long Island in New York. He has worked in K-12 education for most of his education, or his professional career, I should say. And today we're going to talk about his experience with the GAT Labs for Education and how he has been able to use GAT to overcome some pain points as a Google Workspace administrator. So, hi, Bill. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, Scott. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So tell us a bit about yourself and your current role.
Well, I am the Network and Systems Coordinator, as you said, for Center Moriches School District. And I've been in K-12 education pretty much almost my entire career as a technology person, technology maintainer, tech person. So I started way back when in the East Islip School District, as you may know, back in 1996, believe it or not. And
wow, now you're making me feel old.
Sorry.
Full transparency here. Bill and I worked together many years ago when we were both in the East Islip School District. So I hate to admit how far back that is, but go ahead, Bill. Sorry.
It's all good, man. So I've been in K-12 quite a long time. And as you know, working in K-12 poses a lot of challenges and a lot of rewards too. We have to do a lot with a little. It's always
absolutely.
People want, they want everything. We pretty much gotten to the point in K-12 education that our technology has to run like a Fortune 500 company, but we have to deal with the budget of a nonprofit and the staff of a nonprofit. So that's always been the challenge for me. And I enjoy it. I don't think I'd want to work anywhere else, even with all the headaches and challenges and things that come along with it. I love this sector of technology, and I love this sector of working in. I've made a lot of great friends, met a lot of great people, learned a lot, and I'm still learning to this day. So that's why I love working in K-12. And when I have great tools, such as GAT to help me, it makes my job a little bit easier.
Well, I'm glad to hear that these tools are making your life easier. So how big is your school district, Bill? And how many staff members and students do you have?
So our K-12 population is roughly just under 1,500 students.
Okay.
We have all total, I'd say around, counting all staff, teachers, paras, clerical, everybody, we have maybe just about 400 staff total, security, and everybody else. We have, as far as the IT department, there is myself.
That's the next question.
Here's the phone number. The staff is myself, and I have a network and systems specialist one, and they're hired by the district. And I have one person that is an outsourced desktop kind of technician. So really there's 3 people for the entire district.
Yeah, that's the sad part, because you mentioned, you're expected to behave like a Fortune 500 company and keep up with the big boys, but, the staffing doesn't always meet it, and you're expected to do things with, bubble gum and shoestring and just, hold the place together. And you do somehow, so kind of a double-edged sword. You're doing a great job of doing it. So everybody goes, well, they're doing it. Might as well let them keep doing it the way they're doing it. But I honestly think that because we've been around for so long, that the new breed of administrators or the current breed of administrators are young enough to have had technology be a significant part of their life since they were young. So I think they recognize the need to support it a little bit better than some of the older people that we might have worked with earlier in our career that didn't see the need or the value in spending that money. So it's probably not as much of a challenge to get the idea across that you need to support it and they need to support you in supporting the district. However, the budget is still an issue, of course, and there's only so much to go around. So you do the best you can. So hopefully tools like GAT, and I'm sure you have some other tools in your arsenal. Hopefully they make your life a little bit easier and help you stretch that dollar a little bit further. So how long now? It hasn't been that long, but how long has it been since you've started using GAT tools?
We put GAT into production this summer. We were on a previous product, and we started a trial last spring just to kind of test the waters to get a feel for it, to roll everything out. And we put it into full production starting like September 1st this year. This is our first full school year. We started this school year with GAT, GAT Shield, as well as the teacher assist as well for monitoring the classrooms. It's been a bit of a learning curve for us, obviously, like everything,
Sure.
What works. I will say the Shield is very flexible. It has a lot of power to it. And there lies some of the learning curve is that, um, while it's very powerful with the query structure and how you, without getting too technical into it, but how you phrase your alerts and how you phrase your regex regex
Expressions.
expressions. Thank you. So you need to be a little careful with that. And sometimes you get some of those unintended results, and all of a sudden your inbox is flooded with alerts, and you're like, "Oh, I missed a caret, or I missed a and sign, or something like that." So but so far, I had to say I've been very happy with it. The rollout so far this year, as far as like alerts and the Shield side of it, has been very good. The teacher assist has been like everything else. A lot of times, some people change is difficult. And
Right.
when you're used to one product for a certain number of years, and even though you told them, hey, this is coming and it's going to, you tell them well in advance and here's all the directions, when it actually becomes real, it's met with some frustration.
That's
Um,
always going to be the case. I always used to say I relied on positive peer pressure when I was in the schools to get those people that were really supportive of it, your cheerleaders. And if you can get them, my experience was always that teachers listen better to teachers than they will to you or your tech team. They don't want to hear from
Absolutely.
you. You could be saying the
No,
exact same thing, but if they're
right.
hearing it from another teacher. And I also found it really helpful if I could get one of the teachers that traditionally were the drag along teachers, the one you had to really bring to something new.
Mhm,
If you can
mhm,
get them to adopt it, then they made like they're your best salesperson because you can go, look, Mrs. Smith's doing it.
right.
Anybody can do it.
Yeah,
How big, I mean, you don't say it like that,
right,
but you
right.
kind
No,
of
I know
make
what you're
that
saying,
point
yeah,
to them. And I think everybody probably noticed that, wait a minute, she's doing it though. I could do this, it makes life a little bit easier. But yeah, there's always a learning curve. So, as you move forward, it'll get easier and easier as they become more used to it.
sure.
Speaking of teacher assist, we are working on some updates to the user interface. So hopefully
Mhm,
it won't stray too far from what your staff is comfortable with and getting comfortable
right.
with now. But hopefully it'll be some improvements that they'll appreciate, and it'll make their lives a little bit easier as well as the admins and even the principals. I don't know if in your situation yet you've gotten to the point where your principals are reviewing some of the classes that are taking place in Teacher Assist. That is part of what they can do. They can see reports. They can also see real time what's going on if they choose to. But we're making some improvements to the interface for them as well to give them easier access to things too. So um, I'm glad to hear it's going well, and I do fully understand the challenges in rolling out something new. But hopefully, at the end of the school year, everybody will see the value in having done so. So, um, tell me about specifically though how you've been able to use GAT to help you with your filtering and your alerts.
So we've, as far as using GAT for that, the Shield side of it, we were able to get our Shield a little more granular when it comes to blocking inappropriate sites. There's always that issue of there's categories and there's rules and everything,
Right.
but sometimes you need to dig a little bit deeper. Maybe there's just some website in particular. The website overall is good, but maybe they're hosting a subsite, looking at like Google sites and things like that, that
Mhm.
you want to keep some of it open, but then block certain parts of it. Shield has that flexible feature to it where you can't, some tools only allow you to block the entire domain. That's it.
Right.
Whereas Shield, I
Starting
found,
at the root.
yeah,
Anything from there is blocked. Right.
right. So Shield lets you get a little more flexible with that. And you can say, all right, allow this site, but if there's this, slash whatever, slash bad site, slash, whatever, you can block that specific part while leaving the root site open. It was pretty interesting with that. The alert rules are also nice. They alert you. You can set up alerts for almost anything, any kind of search that a student may do, not just not just on a page, but even if they're searching for something, it'll give you an alert on that, which is nice.
In
So
real time.
what
In
was
real
it?
time.
Yeah, in real time. It's really neat. One thing we're using a lot is it's always interesting to see this one. Windows executable downloads. You don't want
Yeah.
people just installing random things in their computers. So it's always interesting to see when a student is on a Chromebook and tries to download a Windows executable. As a tech person, that always gives us a little chuckle. But that's a very powerful piece that we apply it not just on the student side, but on the teacher side for safety too. It stops them from their maybe they're going to a website to download a piece of clip art, and you've seen them all those, oh, click here to
Click
download
here. Yeah.
banner.
Sure.
And it's not really the banner for the clip art, it's for something else. So it's really great because it stops a lot of that from happening.
Now, have you done anything as far as scheduled report yet with Shield, or are you just using the alerts at this point?
I'm just using the alerts at this point. We get the alerts emailed to us in real time, which is nice.
Mhm.
We can act upon things when necessary. We usually go in though at the end of the week just to see what's going on. It's a new tool for us. We always like to, the reports are great, but we always like going in ourselves. We spend a lot of time, probably more than we should, in GAT, checking out all the, the metrics and things like that, as they say. So
Yeah. Now, Shield, as you're using it. Shield has the new user interface, and that's
yes.
the direction we're heading in for all of the tools. So,
Mhm.
if you've used Flow yet, you'll see it in there. Shield has it. Teacher Assist, as I mentioned, is getting the new user interface, and next on the list is the core product, Gap Plus and Unlock. You'll see. Hopefully, I don't even want to commit to a time frame because, from what I understand from the engineering folks, and the management team here, that the reason that was saved for last is because obviously it's the most comprehensive part of the
Sure.
product, and that's what's going to take longest. So,
Mhm.
building upon what they've learned and the things that they've been able to implement for some of the other tools, they'll be able to now build that out successfully and without issue, hopefully. So, well, I'm glad you're finding Shield useful, and some people find it, especially at first, a little bit overwhelming, because sometimes too many options can be overwhelming, and
Sure.
we give you options, but as you pointed out, you don't have to use all those options
Right.
necessarily, and not to speak for you, but what I mean by that is, it comes set up already to a certain extent where you, like you said, you've got the categories and you've got your basic things already set, so you don't have to go too crazy with it. But in other words, you're not going to open it up and it's going to be wide open to the world.
Right.
I would recommend, of course, as you had to do as school, you want to sit and look at what the way how it comes and make sure that it's customized enough to meet your needs and protecting the most basic security ideas that you want covered, and then continue to work with it. But I think that granular nature is nice because you can start off at the highest level, if you will, or the
Sure.
simplest of filters, and then, like you said, you can really get granular. I can remember having very specific use cases where, much to my disbelief, I had students who had in their CSEs, or in their I'm sorry, in their IEPs, their individualized education plans, call outs that said this student is allowed to listen to Spotify if they are
Yeah.
feeling overwhelmed,
Yes.
and not just listen to music. The legal document actually said they're allowed to listen to Spotify. So
Right.
now, of course, you have to jump through hoops and go, I have all this type of stuff blocked for, everybody. How do I get so specific that I can say this particular student can do that? And obviously with GAT, we can do that easily.
Mhm.
Prior to that, it was creating a special OU within the Google
Yes.
Admin
Yep.
Console, and then building off of that and saying that particular OU can do this, but the others can't. But with GAT, if you had a similar situation, you'd find it to
Mhm.
be much easier because we can go down to the user level as well. So it makes life a whole lot easier. So now, before you were using GAT, were you just solely using the Google Admin Console? Were you using some,
We were
any?
using, another product to do Chromebook filtering and
Okay,
monitoring in classroom, and it worked okay. It worked well, but I wasn't getting the warm fuzzies all the time from it. I felt it
yeah,
was letting some stuff through that maybe it shouldn't, and it was maybe blocking more than it should. A lot of stuff we got, not false positives, but it was just it wasn't doing exactly what I thought it should be doing as well as it should be doing. It had some issues. Um,
so did you end up spending a lot of time as the sysadmin or your team having to sort of review what was being
yes,
blocked and making that determination? No, this should, so it became a very manual process for you, right at
yes,
that point?
it was. So we were doing a lot of like watching the alerts and reading the alerts, and
Yeah,
we spent a lot of time going through. It seemed like I was getting a lot more requests for this site is blocked, please unblock it. This site is blocked, please unblock it. And that gets a
yeah,
little tedious, every day having to deal with that. With
yeah.
that, it seems to be a little less, again, probably because of that granular feature where we can make things specific, as you said, per user if we wanted to even.
Yeah.
But we can also granularize the shield and the alerts and things like that. So part of it too was also, it's okay to bring this up, but the cost of the products too.
Yeah,
GAT is a very affordable solution for doing, you know, a great job. Whereas
right.
some of the other solutions maybe cost a little bit more. Um, GAT is
Yeah.
definitely at a great price point. Please don't raise it.
No
They
plans on
could,
that.
but
No, no plans on raising it. You joke about that, but so again, full disclosure. Before
yeah.
coming to GAT, I've been here about a year now. I was in a school. I was director of technology, and I was a GAT customer. And I was in a similar situation to yours, where I was using another product, and then I was using GAT, like let's say the core components of GAT Plus,
Mhm.
if you will. Okay.
Correct.
Um, and then when they started rolling out Teacher Assist and things like that, it became obvious to me that I didn't need the other products I was using anymore, because between Shield and Teacher Assist, I was able to accomplish everything I was using multiple products,
Right.
but all under one roof, one team that I was dealing with as a company.
Mhm.
Um, in fact, we got more um, more functionality, if you will, by just
Yes.
going with GAT than if we had kept them separate.
Right.
And the biggest push, in all honesty, was price. It drove. I'm like, wait a minute, they're raising their prices. They're
Mhm.
offering me less and less. The philosophy of the particular company I was using kind of shifted a little bit, and their focus wasn't quite what GATS is, and I
Right.
needed a company that's vision was aligned with what I was looking to do with the products, not what they were looking to do with their products.
Correct.
So all of those factors, they were huge for me as well, and it made it real easy to make the decision to say, I'm going to move over, and I was very happy with them. Obviously, I'm here because of my experience as a customer, the end user, the value, but also the experience working with the people here at GAT as part of the team.
No, I will agree with that too. That I've had some uh, issues is not the right word. It's my way, learning how to do it correctly in GAT. And you've helped me out with a couple of emails back and forth. The team at GAT is very receptive, very responsive, and I like that too. I feel like if I ask for support, I'm actually getting a real person
Yeah.
on the other side of the email. I feel like there's somebody real behind there, not just a generic, oh, we've received your email and we'll get back to you in 48 hours. And then maybe I'll get an email back and maybe I won't. But with GAT, I definitely, from my side of the tech side of it, I love that their team and their support team has been awesome so far. And I'm sure it's going to be awesome into the future too, because so they're very responsive. They're very helpful with that.
I'm sure they will as well. I'm glad to hear that. I mean, that's generally the feedback we get. The biggest compliment that we get at GAT is somebody recommending them to somebody else. When we have a
Mhm.
school, or we do a lot in enterprise as well, and we talk to people the first time, doing a demo. How'd you hear about us? Very often, it's either I have a colleague who's worked with GAT before and spoke highly of it, or even some of the messaging boards, if you will.
Yeah.
They've done a search for it. They've gone onto some of the
Mhm.
boards, and the people there have recommended GAT. So it's always been very organic, the growth
Right.
of the product, and we rely very heavily upon people like you and others who speak highly of it, because just like we were talking earlier about the teachers, the teachers want to hear from teachers. Tech directors want to hear from tech directors. You're in the trenches with me. I don't want to hear what a salesperson has to say. Tell me
Yep.
your experience with it, and does it actually work for you? So we relied pretty heavily upon that, and for that reason, they're really good about making sure that the customer service and the support team are as responsive as you said. The other thing, and I'm not trying to make this sound like a commercial for them, but um, I'm very impressed with how responsive they are to customer requests for enhancements as well. And
Mhm.
if they are possible, it happens. And especially if it's going to, benefit to scale. Um, it's not like some companies where, and I had found this out when I was on your side of things too. It's not, oh, we do a release once a year, or we do a release twice a year, so you have to wait for this. If there's
Right.
an immediate need and a legitimate need for a fix, or certainly if there's a fix, but if there's a legitimate need for an enhancement, it gets done almost immediately. They're very good about doing that. Now, I know you've also used GAT or had to use GAT for locating some Chromebooks. So, first of all, before you tell me about that, tell me a little bit about the device breakdown in your district. How do you have it broken down between staff and students? What type of devices?
So for our staff, we've gone now. Our teaching staff use Windows laptops.
Uh-huh.
The students, though, are all issued Chromebooks.
Okay.
That happens from kindergarten up through 12th grade. Now, for 5th grade through 8th grade, those students get Chromebooks to take home. So they're issued
Okay.
a brand new Chromebook in 5th grade. They hold on to it in 8th grade. Then in 9th grade, we issue them another Chromebook. They keep it from 9th all through 12th grade, and then hopefully return it when they graduate.
Now they take it home. I'm assuming 9 to 12 also. So it's the take home policy starts in 5th grade.
5th grade.
But when they get the second laptop in grade 9, they also get to take that one.
We also get to take it home, yes. So from 5th grade to 8th grade, they take it home, and then 9th grade to 12th grade, they take it home.
Okay. So now tell me, has GAT helped you, having to, locate a missing Chromebook? Have you been able to use it for that?
Yes, we haven't. It hasn't been that bad yet. Most times we've located them, it's been within our building. So
That's often
nothing
the
is.
case. I mean,
Yeah.
I used to have custodians drop them off at the tech office. I know,
Yep.
I found this in the hall. Somebody left it on the auditorium stage. Somebody left it in
Yep.
the girls' room,
Yep.
and thankfully we were able to go back and find out who was assigned to and, take care of that problem. But yeah. So
But
you haven't had any really lost outside of the district at this point?
no, but it does show us. So if a student says, "Oh, I lost my Chromebook, I can't find it," we're like, "Well, the last time it pinged out was from this area. And do you live in East Moriches, or
Right.
do you live in here?" They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Well, you may want to check under your bed or something because it's probably there."
Well, we at grandma's house one weekend and,
Right.
she lives wherever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we had set up in my former district, we had set up the login restrictions to force them within a geographical range. Because as you know, using Shield, you can see very clearly
Mhm.
on a map. And if you drill down, I mean, you can get the one I
Yeah.
looked at yesterday was within 10 meters of the device. So you get really good information because it's using the Chrome browser extension. So you're getting really good updates and information on that. I mean, we get really good information out of GAT plus the core
Yes.
product. You can see, look at, but Shield does obviously a better job. It tells us public address, public
Yes.
IP address, private IP address, um, the exact make and model of the device and the
Yep.
operating system and all that. So it's giving you a great bit of detail. But we had set up, I thought logically, okay, we're sending these home with the kids. I don't want them to vanish. So we set it up so that they had to be within the school district's borders,
Right.
And
Okay.
all of a sudden I'm getting all sorts of alerts. Like, what's going on here? What? Well, it turns out district I worked in, the parents thought nothing of taking the children on vacation regularly during school session. And they
Mhm.
thought of it as a learning opportunity for the students to see the world, to travel and so forth. But they still wanted them to do their schoolwork while they were away. So the kids were now logging in from God
Yeah.
knows where,
Right.
So we had to change it. So this is where, we talk about the flexibility with Shield. We had to make adjustments. So instead of setting an alert to say, tell me, I'm sorry, so instead of setting an alert that said they can only log in within this location, instead we set an alert that said, if they log in from outside of the location, let us know, so
Right.
that we know what's going on. And, obviously for security reasons, you could do that also for, negative login attempts as well, which is kind of an
Mhm.
indicator if you have a security problem,
Right.
maybe the bad guys in whatever country you want to, fill in the blank. They're hitting away at usernames trying to log in. So it's great
Right.
because we were able to see all that. But I love that I could switch it around so easily and go, instead of blocking everybody or instead of forcing everybody to be within this area,
Right.
they can do what they need to. I've never wanted to be the one who prevented teachers or students from doing things with the
Sure.
technology. That kind of goes against why we're giving them the technology. It never made
Right.
sense
Right.
to me, But I've worked with some people who, hard and fast, these are the rules and you don't do anything else. So to me, that flexibility is great because I can work with them. You need to work in this way. And we have a system that we can still provide safety and security and data protection and all the things that we feel are important as a technology department, as a school, but we're not preventing you as a teacher or a student from, doing anything that you really need to do. That's legitimate instruction. So it worked out well for us as well. So now you mentioned, you're new to GAT and you started using some of the other tools. So you started using Teacher Assist. Is that something
Yes.
that you rolled out across for all your teachers, or you've only made it available to certain grade levels at this point? Or how did you work that?
We roll it out to everyone. It's available to any teacher that wants to use it. We're seeing mostly used at the middle school and high school levels.
Okay.
Um, again, the elementary schools, they're the traditional like carts in the classroom. So every
Right.
classroom has its own cart full of Chromebooks. They usually take them out for maybe a centers or a specific activity. They're not just on all the time.
Right.
Whereas at the high school, middle school, it's part of, it's part of the student's educational day. They're using it in every classroom. So the teachers need a way to monitor. So yeah, we roll it out to everyone. And it's been pretty good. Like I said, we've had a few issues,
Mhm.
but again, GAT support was kind enough. They walked me through some things and we worked some stuff out. And now I bring that back to the teachers, and now they understand a little bit more. Okay, this is how we do this, and this is how one of the there's an interesting thing that I'll admit that took me a little bit by surprise. The Chromebooks have multiple desktops now,
Ah,
similar to the Macs did. And I think
yeah.
Windows may have just finally introduced it in Windows 11, but similar. The Chromebooks now can have multiple desktops, and the kids just have to. I found it's a 4-finger swipe, and you swipe across on the trackpad, and you get your other desktop. So now they can hide their games in that one. It looks like, oh no, look, there's no games open, it's not here. But if you swipe, you'll see it. So we had to make the teachers aware. If you see games on the teacher assist, but they're not showing you games on their desktop, swipe the trackpad and see what comes up, and I get you'll find the games there.
Yeah, students must be quite surprised to realize that the teachers can see that now, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. You also, you have the ability with Teacher Assist also to take a screenshot of what the kid's doing at any point in time. So I think that makes it nice to have a conversation with the student after class and be able to go, look,
Yes.
th- we see what you're doing. Like, you're
Right.
not fooling anybody here. All
Mhm.
we want you to do is stay on task, and
So
the teacher assist tools, that's kind of it's all about. I mean, the teacher can push out, 5 class site or 5 websites that
yes.
they want to use for the lesson. Just
Yes.
stay focused. That's all we need you
So
to do. 42 minutes, whatever it is, work with us, we'll work with you. We're giving you the tools, but,
one yeah.
meet us halfway here, So that's interesting. So, you know, it it's so odd to me that considering it seems like the school year has just started, it's really hard to believe that schools are now starting to talk about their budgets for next
The next
year,
video.
and
Yes.
start planning and all that. So,
Mhm.
um, for you at Center Moriches, have you found GAT tools to be a good investment for your district? Has it made things easier for you and your team? Maybe save some time?
It's definitely been a great investment for us. I will absolutely be renewing it.
Oh,
Another thing about the reporting, I know we talked about the missing Chromebooks, but we
mhm.
had an issue recently where um, I'm just trying to phrase this without giving away personal stuff. So just give me a second. A
Don't worry.
student,
We have a built-in PII detector for the
thank you.
podcast too, so it'll flash on the
Perfect.
screen. It'll bleep you out, blur your face. Go ahead. Take your time.
Um, we had a student that supposedly, allegedly, sent emails to other students that were not nice in nature.
Uh-huh. Happens a
And
lot, unfortunately.
yeah, and trying to investigate this through the Google admin was not as easy as it should be.
Alright.
So we said, let's take a look in GAT. And if I'm exaggerating, but within like minutes, we
Yeah.
had everything we needed to find out the truth of what happens. Suffice to say, there was some sharing of passwords we found out. And it was
There you
great
go.
because GAT's able to also show us who logs into a Chromebook, when, where, IPs they logged in from, things like that. So it was great for that kind of investigation side of it. I will say, I mean, the Google admin actual tools, it shows you stuff, but not the way GAT shows you stuff. GAT makes it so much easier to try to piece the puzzle together when you're investigating. And again, not just on missing Chromebooks, but almost anything, emails,
Yeah.
device logins, you pretty much name it. You can build a report and correlate data there. And it's great.
Well, I'm glad you found that useful. I mean, we do demos, obviously, those are the things we try to bring up to people that, we can give you one use case and show you an example of it, but there's probably 10 that we're not even, talking about. And you'll probably come across things on your own where, oh, I've used the tools for this.
Mhm.
Can I use it for that now? And that's what you found out. So, I mean, you can quickly search for the file. You can quickly remove the file or
Mhm.
access to whoever has access to the file. If it was the email, of course, we've seen this with, like phishing attempts. Everybody's getting a Starbucks gift card from the superintendent. What?
Yeah.
Really? You think that's legitimate? But what's cool about it, you do a quick file search with the email, find out everybody who got that particular email, and within 2 clicks, you've now removed that email from everybody's inbox, whether they've read it or not. So, I mean, it's things like that I think save us a huge amount of time. Because I can remember back in the day, you had to go to people, or you had to send an email saying, "Did you get this email? If you got this email, be sure to do this." Where now you you take control of it, you automate it, and for a lot of the users, they may not even know that email even made it to their inbox, because you may have handled it so quickly that it's gone from their inbox before they even had a chance to click on it. So anyway, I'm really glad the tools have worked out for you. I'm hoping you'll continue to have the success with that. Of course, myself and the entire support team are here for you. If you need anything, and I'm happy to hear that you're going to be looking to stay on with us for another year. So most importantly, though, I want to thank you for joining today. I mean, it's great to hear how much GAD has benefited your district, and I want to thank you, of course, but also everyone for tuning in. And if you've enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, share, and stay tuned for more conversations with admins. So until the next time, keep pushing boundaries and think differently.